Dr. Victor Onukwa, President of the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria, AHCN, says the agri-village and farm settlement in all local government areas across the country will be a means to drive housing at the local and rural level, as well as creating job opportunities for millions of jobless youth across the country.
So there is need to create agri-villages and farm settlements in all local governments across the country where agri shall be used to drive housing at the local and rural level, thereby creating job opportunities for millions of jobless youths across the country. The creation of these agri-villages and farm settlements will address two major aspects of our economy: food production shortages and housing shortages. The settlement shall be equipped with all necessary facilities and infrastructure such as banks, shopping malls, hospitals, religious facilities, markets, transport shuttle, recreation facilities, even middle-sized hotels, security, internet, and all other facilities that are provided in urban estates to attract unemployed youths in the urban center to the rural settlement.
Dr. Onukwa stated this during a 2-day training workshop for the 6th Annual General Meeting and 103rd Council Meeting of AHCN held in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, with the theme Transformation of Housing Corporations in Unearthing Opportunities in Utilizing Housing as Agent of Economic Recovery in Post-COVID-19 Era. He commended Governor Doyedire for repositioning the housing sector of the state, noting that the objective of the founders of the association is aimed at solving the then growing housing problems, especially in urban areas, by advising government of the federation on housing projects and programs.
I'm highly delighted to address you at this opening ceremony of this 2-day national workshop on transformation of housing corporations in harnessing inherent opportunities in utilizing housing as agent of economic recovery in post-COVID-19 era, combined with the 46th and 103 Council meeting of the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria holding here in Yenagoa. Permit me to humbly appreciate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Diri, for his tremendous support to our member organization, the Bayelsa State Housing and Property Development Authority, which indeed has made it possible for all of us to be here today. We're also grateful to His Excellency for the appointment of Mr. Paul Yegba. I will say reappointment, because he has done well. He was here before as the General Manager of the State Housing Corporation, which we believe is one of the best decisions for housing provisions in Bayelsa State. Without any doubt, Your Excellency, your presence here is a proof of the importance accorded to housing provision for the people of the state and ensuring sustainable and affordable home ownership in Nigeria. The objective of the founders of the association was to solve the then growing housing problems, especially in the urban centers, by advising governments of the Federation on their housing policies, projects and programs.
According to Dr. Onukwa, housing system needs delegates to be very enormous, which requires strategic approach.
This workshop, therefore, is designed to reassess the housing market with a view to harnessing inherent opportunities in utilizing housing as agent of economic recovery in post-COVID-19 era and stimulate housing agencies to speedily embrace global business practice that will transform and enhance their effective productivity and profitability through adoption, adaptation, and development of positive corporate attitudes.
Similarly, Mr. Femi Adewale, Managing Director of Family Homes Fund Limited, Abuja, and guest speaker, made a presentation on structural reformation of housing corporations as instruments of driving rental housing.
Is 2 billion naira house possible in Lagos? It depends on how you think about it. If we limit our imagination to how do I build 2 million naira house, the land, the block, the finishes, which is the way that most people will think about it, possibly not. But if you think about it as a financial instrument that actually The 2 million naira house exists alongside a 10-20 million naira house, a 50 million naira house that you can cross-subsidize. So it means that although I'm selling you the house for 2 million naira, actually it could cost me 3 million naira to build that house. But that is because some other parts of the project are cross-subsidizing that. That is an established financial model now that's been in existence for about 15 years. It's the reason why you go to London, you find a £2 million apartment in the same block as a £50,000 apartment, because they are cross-subsidizing. It's really about our own imagination and thinking different, and that's what we're doing. In Ogun State, New Makun City, we're building 1,070 units there. And the smallest units there are selling for 2.7 million naira. But that's because I have 269 bungalows that are selling for 15 million naira, that each of them is contributing 1.5 million naira to the small studio flats that we are selling at 2.7 million naira. So this is not just about the bricks and mortar, it's also about actually how you conceptualize it to make it happen. So is it possible? I think it's absolutely. It depends on the will and the innovation that you bring with it.
While appreciating the housing corporations of Nigeria for accommodating him, he centered his presentation on former construction and transformation of housing.
So the first thing is basically that you need to develop a new vision for the future. Obviously from the work that we do, we are having to interact with a lot of you as housing corporations, but a lot of that interaction is based on the same old business model. There's no new thinking. There's no new thinking, and I think that as an association, you really have to focus on saying, thank God for the last 46 years. What is the next 20 years going to look like for housing corporations? What do we want housing corporations to look like? And what benefits can housing corporations now bring to citizens, which is important, to your government owners who own you, and to your staff?
On his part, Mr. Paul Yegba, General Manager, Bayelsa State Housing and Property Development Authority, who was the host, in a speech while welcoming members of the council to the meeting, expressed joy, saying the event was first of its kind.
Mr. President, sir, ex-school members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to be part of this epoch-making event. This is the first time a meeting of the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria is holding in the States. It is happening at a time the miracle administration under her amiable miracle governor, Senator Doye Berry, who is desirous of bringing prosperity to the lives of the people of the states.
Mr. Yegba, who reiterated Governor Doye Berry's drive in providing affordable housing for all, says the governor has approved the completion of the Okaka Housing Estate Phase 2 in Yenagoa.
Housing development is one sure way of job creation and distribution of resources to enhance the well-being of a people. Hence, His Excellency, the Governor, when coming on board, wasted no time in approving the completion of abandoned housing project at Okaka, Yenagoa. Work in that project is ongoing.
Barrister Esau Andrew, the State Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, who was represented by Mr. Benson Iriye, Director of Urban and Regional Planning in the Ministry, made presentation on the concept of housing, economic implications, affordability, factors affecting housing development in Yenagoa, current housing situation, as well as the enabling environment for housing provisions.
Now, in the case of Bayelsa, we have factors affecting our housing needs: the building cost and the maintenance cost. Building cost, in Bayelsa here, we live in a swampy region. And so when you get a land, at the end of the day, when you get a land, for you to build one house, a 3-bedroom flat in Bayelsa is not an easy job, because you have to carry out some filling and so on and so forth. Because of the nature of our land, the cost of construction is very high. So the cost of acquiring the land too is high. If you get to some certain area, the people will tell you, this is so amount, 500,000, 1 million naira, and so on and so forth. So the cost of construction is high. So the factors affecting housing development in Bayelsa, why so many shanties that you saw is ongoing, is because of this.
Other guest speakers in the contribution says housing schemes are a key component of a developing society, hence the need for government at all levels to give the needed attention.
Change is the most if you must make a difference, and with God on your side, you shall succeed.
Beyond the primary areas of joint venture partnership, LSDPC is equally exploring tripartite arrangements with landowners and financiers.
I am pleased to support this notion by forming this august body that under its present management, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria adopted corporate governance, enterprise risk management frameworks that conform to the highest international standards.